Tragedy has unfolded in London. A Sikh boy pursuing his post-graduation in London has now been found dead. This is after a desperate search and appeals by the family members for the past 10 days. The London Metropolitan Police have confirmed that a body has indeed been recovered. They are now seeking further information, but on prima facie, they are saying they are not suspecting this to be a suspicious death. Now, what is rather strange is that this is the second Indian who's been found dead under mysterious circumstances, literally floating in the River Thames in the past 2 months in almost the same area. This boy, who's from Jalandhar, Gurshaman Singh Bhatia, he was studying at the Loughborough University. He had gone missing on the 15th of December. After attending a birthday party with his friends, his family had spoken to him just that morning. On the 17th of November, another boy, Mit Kumar Patel, had been found dead. Now Gurshaman Bhatia has been found dead. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the London metropolitan area has the most number of CCTV cameras per capita in the world. Live tracked CCTV cameras with all the fancy AI technology they can think of, the most number in the world. For a week, they couldn't locate him. The matter had to be escalated by the family here through the offices of political leaders to the MEA to put pressure, and then they launched a manhunt only to find a body. Now, I just want you to imagine this for a second. These are Indian students. I want you to reverse it. Imagine in 2 months, if the bodies of 2 British students had been found near Daryaganj floating in the Yamuna River. And the Delhi police came and said, not a suspicious death, no issues, all good. Just imagine that for a second. 2 British students, New Delhi, Daryaganj, same area, within 2 months found dead, body floating in the river. Not a suspicious death. It seems rather strange that the British authorities, government, Home Office, MI5, MI6, all of the people who know who their VIPs are. The VIPs are the people who are running agitation campaigns, announcing terror attacks, threatening to break up India, running referendums. These people are the VIPs. Touch ye not. But the students whose money they happily take, in this case a Sikh student, whose money, fees you've happily taken, whose rent you've happily taken, has gone missing, has died. This is the second case. Nothing suspicious, nothing to worry about. What are they thinking? They're basically alluding that party shati kar raha hoga, daru varu pee ke gir gaya hoga, arey chodo. That's what they're doing. Now think about it. If a body had been found of a Khalistani operative floating in the river, they would have been accusing India, Five Eyes Intelligence, George Soros and all his study buddies would have been calling up, Justin Trudeau would be on the phone line, getting very, very agitated and hassled. Student dies, nothing. Think about it, studying in London, what the value of an Indian life currently there is. Let me open up this conversation. Joining us on the broadcast, just to put some perspective into what is going on, Ambassador Mahesh Sachdeva is with us, Colonel J.S. Sodhi is with us, Harinder Singh Sikka is joining us on the broadcast, and I'm going to try to get Manjinder Singh Sirsa as well, who was the person that the family had reached out to to help escalate this. We'd spoken to him a few days ago. We'll try to get him back into this conversation. Ambassador Sachdeva, obviously it's unhappy news, sir. Obviously it's troubling. The second Indian national in the same area has been found dead in the similar kind of circumstances. Now we have to assume that the British police, the London Metropolitan Police, Scotland Yard are conducting an investigation. How worried should we be, sir, at some pattern emerging here?
I think prima facie, there is reason to be worried, be cautious about it. There are more than 143,000 Indian students in UK, and 2 deaths are too many. There's every reason to check if there is a pattern to it, and whether the police and their fancy gadgets have been not fully deployed to track the cases, and they've been sort of given a short shift. I think one should also mention that they were both Indian nationals, and so the responsibility for ascertaining their fate lies with the Indian consular agencies in UK, in our High Commission, and but for them, the cases would have had even faster burial, literally. I think after the first death, the notices should have gone up, cautionary remarks should have been put at the Canary Wharf where these 2 deaths have taken place, and it has to
I appreciate the care and caution with which, of course, you're choosing your words carefully, sir, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like I said, Mr. Manjinder Singh Sirsa, who has been in touch with the family, is on the broadcast with us. Let me just get a quick word in, and then I'll come back to you, Ambassador. Mr. Sirsa, if you can hear me, sir.
Yeah.
It's unhappy. We spoke a few days ago when you were helping the family escalate this. We are being told now it's bad news, sir. Have you managed to speak to the family?
Yes, I have spoken to them 2 days back. Actually, when they were on the flight to England, they have already just reached Dubai, and by the time they got this news that their son is no more, as the initial investigation was found that this man was seen close to the Canary Wharf, but somehow they believe that they got a CCTV footage there where they can see that he was jumping into the river, which we haven't seen. But their family was told this, that your son has jumped in the river and he's no more. So now they got a body is not yet identified. But the shocking thing is that this is not the first kind of incident. A couple of months back, same kind of incident with an Indian student happened that too in this same East London area.
Yeah.
So now the concern of the Indian parents, especially whose children are studying abroad, is that how come there is a continuous this kind of incident happening there in London, and in spite of knowing that even the last incident was there, even police was not helping them out very much. But thereafter the intervention of Ministry of External Affairs, definitely they were responded to the request of embassy and the ministry. But I think it's a tragic incident. At the same time, we are concerned about the continuous this kind of incidents happening.
But why did it take for the family that are from Jalandhar to call you, then you using your good offices to escalate this? This is a boy who's gone missing. Now, basically, they are saying that he's committed suicide, he jumped in. Okay, that itself, if it were to be true, is a very serious concern and a serious issue, sir. Why are Indian students mysteriously dying in London, one after the other? You mentioned the other case, Mit Kumar Patel, that was less than a month ago. So, let me ask you the question, Sirsa ji, if there were 2 British students who had been found floating in the Yamuna under mysterious circumstances, what would the British authorities be doing, sir?
So that was the concern in first hand, which you asked me why the parents approached me. So that was the reason they approached me, because their son was missing since 14th night, 15th morning. But these authorities were not concerned at all, and they were not responding. Neither Loughborough University was responding to their request. So when they approached me through one of my friends, family friends, and then I spoke to them. I said, okay, definitely I'll take up this issue right away. Then when I spoke to the ministry officials also, and I posted this on a social media and on my X handle, thereafter the ministry took up this issue with the embassy, and the embassy took up with the government. That was the stand when the government also woke up there. But the question was, had this been a British national missing here in India, what would have happened? They would have, I think the entire, they would have, sorry, the entire system would have been run. Indian government would have run saving this and finding out where this guy is, where this child is. But this government was least bothered about the missing child.
Yeah, which
is that was the concern.
Which is very worrying, because obviously there are tens of thousands. The ambassador just quoted a figure, 100,000 plus Indian students studying there. There might be all sorts of cases and concerns, and as the host country to which the students pay 4x the fees that local students pay, it's you would expect a little bit of caution. Nonetheless, Mr. Sirsa, thank you for the effort you've taken on behalf of the family. I'm sure they're grateful to you, sir, even in the tragic hour, because at least you've been a kindly voice that has helped escalate the matters in the media and, of course, with the authorities. Manjinder Singh Sirsa joining us on the broadcast. Shekhawat ji, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shekhawat ji is joining us. He, of course, lives in the UK. What is the information that you are receiving there, sir?
See, Rishabh, the problem with this student was that a lot of information is not coming out from the police. Police is keeping their mouth shut. They are not speaking about it. But overall, there is, this is not the first case that has happened in UK. There was another student from Gujarat who died in similar circumstances. He jumped from Tower Bridge and his body was recovered after 7-8 days. And this is the second case that Canary Wharf has been the area where these bodies have been recovered. And the area where his body has been recovered is like the same place where the other student's body was recovered. What they are not confirming to us or to everybody is he the same student? No, they are not confirming that. They will say, oh, we'll take the postmortem, we'll call the family, and then once everything is confirmed, then we'll talk to you about it. So, lot of things are being sort of are hidden from the public, and people don't understand why these things are happening. But overall, Rishabh, one more point I would like to add to all this story is Indian students in this country are facing a lot of troubles. This is not the right place right now for Indian students to come and study.
I'm deeply concerned, Shekhawat ji, because I'll ask you the most basic human question, right? Either the boy has been killed, or it's been an accident, or it's suicide. All three of them are troubling. Canary Wharf, sir, as you and I well know, and I'm sure our viewers know, is not some backwater, godforsaken place in the UK. It's in the heart of the capital, one of the poshest areas, packed with CCTV cameras, packed with people. Okay, so this is not some completely disconnected, quiet street where this has happened. So there will be witnesses. You've heard from Sirsa ji, who said that they weren't taking the investigation seriously. Shekhawat ji, if 2 British students in 2 months had been found floating in the Yamuna, what would the British government be doing? There would be outrage in the House of Commons.
Hell would break loose. It will break loose. The British media will paint us in red. British media will make sure that India is the worst place to live in this entire world. What is happening with the students here is they don't see, first of all, why call them here when you don't have jobs? Student needs some job because that is what is being promised to them when they leave India, that, oh.
Yeah, you come and study for 1 year, then get a 2-year work visa. Yes.
Yes. So that they don't get that anymore. Their jobs are very scarce. Plus, there is a huge shortage of residences in this country. There was a case recently detected by a council where 12 students were living in one room. Out of them, 6 were going in the night for a night shift job, and the other 6 were living or sleeping in the same bed, where the next 6 will come in the morning and sleep. This is the situation which the Indian students are facing in this country.
No, I find it rather strange that in London, in Ottawa, in Surrey, in San Francisco, in New York, there are lots of VIP guests of these various governments. And even if they are they can threaten and do what they want, but if there's a finger of suspicion, no, India is plotting assassination plot, this that is happening, उस पे तो बड़े तेज हैं, MI5 MI6 Five Eyes intelligence सब लगे हुए हैं. जब बच्चे हमारे मर रहे हैं, okay, it's a joke. Let me quickly get Mr. Sikka into this. Mr. Sikka, obviously we don't know. We'll have to now wait for the family because no further information is available from the London Metropolitan Police. We know that there is a body that's been recovered. It's most likely of this boy. He'd been missing for 7 days. This is the second body recovered in the same Canary Wharf, in the same river, in 1 month of 2 Indians. Either there's murder, accident or suicides. Either way, it's very troubling news. What do you make of what's happened, sir?
You see, it is indeed very, very disturbing, extremely disturbing. I see a link in this. I see a plan in this. I see a motivation in this. I see a repetition of Kashmir files. Let's take it very seriously, even if the British government is going to continue to behave the manner in which it is behaving, for obvious reasons, and I'll explain you that. Not too long ago, Khalistanis used a Khalistani flag on Indian High Commission. What did the British government do? Nothing. They promoted Khalistanis. They are promoting Khalistanis. We all know it. What are we going to do about it? Negotiate with them, talk to them, or remove all the securities and bulldoze and on those roadblocks, safeguarding their homes and offices.
No, I think we should let people put a free Scotland or free Northern Ireland flag on the British High Commission, but that's my personal opinion.
So that is one part of life. What did we do? There's a direct link, and I'm aiming at that without any hesitation. What did the Indian government do when lakhs of Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out, thousands of women were raped? Nothing. Now that example is being repeated somewhere in England, in London, that force these students to run back and leave England. Who are these people behind? The same Muslim jihadis, hand mixed with Khalistanis. I can tell you this is how you analyze stuff. Create a fear. And this is exactly what is a message to India.
Okay, so you're thinking it smacks of suspicion, that this is not somebody one after the other just randomly falling into the river Thames. Oops, gir gaye, pair phisal gaya, kind of issues. It's something more suspicious.
What will be BBC's response? It's a sold out media, BBC.
No, nothing. There is no response, which is why we are covering it here.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like I said, Sikka ji, if 2 British students had been found dead floating in the Yamuna, kalesh ho jata yahan par. We would have been painted as a third world, you know what kind of sobriquets they use for countries like ours. Okay, what would have happened? It's unimaginable.
So 2 boys were picked up, one a Patel, second a Sikh. Is there a message behind? You have to analyze this, how did this happen and why did this happen and why it will happen again. We are expendable commodity. And that's what they think.
Okay, let me get a word from Colonel Sodhi, who's been listening in. Colonel Sodhi, now I have no way of partaking in the investigation. If it would have been an investigation happening here in India, we could have spoken to the police, found out what was taking place. This is an investigation happening there. I don't have readily available sources in Scotland Yard. So we have no clue what's happened. Okay, we've just been told body's been recovered, not a suspicious death, one after the other. This is after you've just heard Sirsa ji said that the family had to use political leaders here to speak to the MEA, to get the counsellor, to speak to the police, just to take the case seriously. Otherwise, to check ही नहीं कर रहे थे क्या हो गया था. I mean, come on, what is going on?
Jai Hind, Rishabh. It's my honor to be on a news channel and a privilege to be with the esteemed co-panelists. In the last 1 decade that India has been making a positive impact on the international scenario, there has also been a rise in the murders and the disappearance of the Indian students in the developed countries, especially the Hindu and the Sikh students. And the developed countries like USA, Canada, France, Germany, United Kingdom, where their police are supposed to be very efficient with the latest technology, most of these murders or disappearances are not solved or not traced until unless the government of India puts a lot of pressure. There's a lot of media, coverage in the Indian mainstream media, and then the police of these developed countries act a bit. But the fact remains that the developed countries have become a disaster for the Indian students studying there, especially the Hindus and Sikhs. Now, there has to be a link to it. It is not just a one-off incident. There has to be a link, and definitely the Indian government would be doing its best, though not all will come out in the open media. Rishabh, the point remains that it is the duty of every Indian citizen, especially the mainstream media, and as salute and respect NewsX, which has been repeatedly highlighting such incidents when most of the other channels have not covered it. Till the time we do not bring out this issue internationally, till the time the government of India does not raise this in every international forum, such things will continue. One last point, Rishabh. Decades back, when America realized that they are becoming a major power and their citizens are being targeted, they enacted the Patriot Act on 26 October 2001, under which they investigate death of any American citizen in a foreign country, and if need be, they kill the perpetrators of the who have murdered the American citizen. I think it is high time that the Indian government should also enact a Patriot Type Act, and this investigation of disappearing Indians should not be left to the police of those foreign countries. Our own investigative
No, so there,
agencies should also go abroad
the
and
irony,
investigate
Colonel
them.
Sodhi, in what you're just saying, and let me quickly rope in the good offices of Ambassador Sachdeva. Ambassador Sachdeva, the irony of what Colonel Sodhi is saying, you and I know that in the attack on the Indian High Commission, a team from the National Investigative Agency had to be sent from here in India. We know that no action has been taken. There are no arrests that have been made. Nobody's been caught. Nobody's been tried. Nobody's been incarcerated. We know that in the UK, all the financial absconders are living there freely, no problem. We know that the Khalistani issue is a major problem in London. They are organizing rallies in Trafalgar Square. They are attacking not once, several times the Indian High Commission. They are putting posters of India's ambassadors and diplomats. They are celebrating the assassination of India's prime ministers. These become huge hot potato issues. But the people who are from a small town, this guy is from a model town in Jalandhar. His family saved money. They have aspirations ke, beta bahar padega, naukri lagegi. What answer do we give them?
I think the answer is self-evident. Answer is that don't trust your precious son's or daughter's life to a country where this is at a discount. And I would also like to add here that many of these Western countries follow the diabolic policy of balancing relations. As I've already said on your channel earlier, they would like to have office to office, government to government relations, but at the same time give refuge to absconders, fugitives, terrorists, and so on, just in case these guys resurface and are useful. So they earn their gratitude just in case tomorrow, if Khalistani have some salience or the financial absconders are back in circulation in India, they would have an upper hand, having an IOU to encash. Now, this poor young 23-year-old student at the prime of his youth did not have any of these. And that's where the cynical attitude of the authorities surfaces. And it is to be taken at its face value. Indian authorities have done well to press on with various note verbals and missives to UK, and that have produced some results.
No, but Ambassador, why should it take that? Why should it not be but obvious that this is a serious consideration? It has a serious bearing for the UK as well. They should be deeply concerned that people who are funding the UK education system, which is why British students get to go to college.
Rishabh, let me also say this.
Sir.
These guys may criticize our democracy, They may lampoon us for having authoritarianism, etc., etc. But they also know that an average Indian is free to send his kids to UK. And no matter how they behave, there will be people queuing up at UK High Commission from 4 o'clock in the morning to get visas. So that is the flip
You know,
side
you're right,
of
sir.
our democracy and our social.
You're
contract.
perfectly right. But I've seen in the case of Australia, when Indian students were targeted by racial attacks, the Aussie government had to go into a multi-year effort to repatch both sentiments as well as the image of what was happening there. They made the effort. As we speak, there is a 40% reduction in applications to Canada. That's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and the same will happen to the UK. And I would sit here and recommend, and I mentor a lot of young students. I've studied myself in England. I would go and say that go to France, go study there. Germany is an option. Singapore is an option. Australia is an option. There are other options available. I think Mr. Sikka wants to make an intervention. Mr. Sikka, go ahead, sir.
So this is exactly what the Khalistanis or Muslim jihadis want. That the students get away, get lost from there, to be thrown out. In about next 1 decade or less than that, half the England would be Muslim. This is exactly what is being planned out there. And what they do is, I tried to explain your Kashmir file, perhaps it is not daunting. Few thousands were killed. An entire lot of Kashmiri Pandits vacated the valley. This is exactly what they are trying to repeat. And unless and until we take a bold step, and this government of all the governments shall take that, will take that, because this is not an ordinary government. We're proud of this government, to be honest with you. The manner in which Prime Minister Modi took on Trudeau, it is absolutely wonderful, amazing, and it fills our hearts with pride. This must be repeated. Sunuk, the Prime Minister UK must understand that we are not India of yore.
Okay, but exactly the logic that you're saying, and that's exactly what it becomes, self-fulfilling prophecy, right? This is what they want, and the reaction is to deliver exactly what they want. That Indian students stop going. Therefore, 10 years later, the Indian diaspora diminishes, and you no longer have a Rishi Sunak who becomes a prime minister, and somebody else takes over. You're right. I'm not going to discount it, but then it amounts to terrorism by other means. Then this is what it becomes. Shekhawat ji, why is an epiphany required from here in India? There is sannata, sir. I have been trying to scour the BBC for even a report of this missing boy. There is nothing. Sannata, absolutely zero, like it never happened. Why does the British government or British authorities require to be told that something sinister might be afoot? You should at least take it seriously.
No, Rishabh, we have been talking to the British government. I have met several MPs in last quite a few days. When the last event happened of this Patel boy, his family got in touch with me. They are from Mehsana, and they tried their best to get his body taken back to India, but it was in such a bad shape that we could not do it. Honestly speaking, the British government is doing the least. They are not bothered about what has happened, how it has happened. There's another matter that has happened here. There was a student, not a student, a young boy. He was found murdered, and he was working for Sky Broadcasting itself. Police just simply closed the case saying it's a suicide case because they found a knife which was bought by him around a day ago. So is that the kind of investigation are we looking at?
So what is the problem? We know Shekhawat ji, you know this, the grooming cases, okay, which Pakistani men were operating, but the British police can't call them out because they are afraid of offending sensibilities and being politically correct. These were people affecting British boys and girls whose lives were being destroyed due to sexual abuse and grooming, but they did nothing about it. Why are they choosing to do nothing about it?
I think the British police, the Met, the Scotland Yard, which was so great in earlier days, now seems to be losing its grip, and authorities have gone down thinking that okay, this government will not last long. So everything seems to be in a downside scenario. Everything in this country is going downside scenario. Nobody is really taking things seriously. The country is losing grip on its people. Country is losing grip on national health authorities. There are several cases of stabbing that carries on in the city. And we have a mayor who's from, again, ethnic background of Pakistan and Muslim. So he supports the police. That is why the police has done nothing when
No, but
things happen.
you can be of whatever ethnic background. When you're seeing something that is damaging to the point of death, are you taking it seriously? So let me ask Colonel Sodhi. Colonel Sodhi, in the least criminal scenario is the boy slipped. The least criminal scenario is that this wasn't a murder, he wasn't pushed, he wasn't attacked, maybe he jumped. Now, if there are Indian students every week committing suicide in Canary Wharf, that itself should be deeply disturbing to the police, to the university, to the counselors, to the teachers, to the professors, that why are our kids committing suicide? I mean, a kid commits suicide in IIT, it's deeply disturbing. That is if that's the scenario. It could be something sinister, as Sirsa ji and others are mentioning.
Rishabh, in any police academy where training is done, the basic premise is any death has to be investigated very thoroughly, and whatever other findings are made public so that the family and the relatives and friends of the deceased person know what exactly happened to him or her. But surprisingly, in the developed countries in the last 1 decade, where so many Indian, Hindu and Sikh students have either been murdered or have disappeared, the shoddy investigation done by the highly technological police of these developed countries is actually very surprising. And the fact that they try to cover up these deaths within a day or two by showing statements which even a child would laugh clearly brings out there is something sinister happening with these developed country governments are trying to hide under the carpet. It is very important that the government of India issues press releases, issues demarches, raises this point in every international forum, and the whole mainstream media, the print as well as the electronic mainstream media, should repeatedly highlight this, because if we do not stop it now, it will continue further.
Event missing on the 15th of December. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 942,562 CCTV cameras in London. There are 942,000 CCTV cameras in London. It took pressure from the MEA for them to even examine them, to then discover this boy in the river. In the same place where another Indian boy, a Patel from Gujarat, whose body was found in the river just a month ago. Now, I'm going to leave you with the premise where I began. Just imagine if 2 Canadians had just been found floating in the Yamuna, whatever the cause might be. Just imagine if 2 British nationals were found floating in the Yamuna. Imagine if 2 Americans had just been found floating in the Yamuna. What would have been happening? I thank my guests and our condolences to a grieving family.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.